are unique to CPS that I can highlight. One innovative, feature of a lot of our inverters is what we call our separable wire box design. So a lot of our commercial solar PV inverters have a separable wire box where, you think of the inverter having two different compartments. One we call the power head, where all the power electronics are. That's all the power conversion controls. That's all being done in the power head. And the wire box is where all the cables are terminated. So all your DC coming from the solar array, your AC that's then connected to, the building or the site's, balance of system, communication wiring. So what the main advantage of a separable wire box design is if you're doing troubleshooting, maintenance, or have to replace an inverter, that power head, you're really talking about two bolts on each side of the power head where you're unscrewing those, you're sliding the power head off, putting a new one on without touching any of the electrical conductors, wires, and lugs. So the one advantage is you're turning kind of a multiple hour job into something like 15 minutes because you're really just sliding the power head off, putting another one on. And you're not having to touch any of the electrical wiring. So you don't need, a licensed electrician to do that type of work if that's all they're doing. So that's one key innovation. And that's brought a lot of value to customers out in the field. I've done troubleshooting and maintenance out in the field. So and a lot of our team has. So we kind of have seen that firsthand, even, outside of being at CPS. And that's been one kind of key innovation that's been really valuable for our customers. Let's see, a few others. We have something that we call KVA overhead, the apparent power rating of the inverter. Basically, we allow it to be, programmed to be higher than the default rating. And the advantage there is, we've seen a lot of projects, the utility and the grid that the inverters are being connected to require some sort of grid stability support. They may need to operate at a non-unity power factor to provide VAR support for the grid, voltage stability, basically, grid stability. And with this KVA overhead feature, the systems are able to provide that VAR support, that grid support, without kind of taking a hit or having lower active power production. So being able to produce, at the maximum, rating of the system, while also providing grid support. So that's obviously been, when it's needed, definitely a valuable feature as well. Right. Some other innovations, I guess a key area that we focused on is serviceability of our products. I guess the main reason for that is really having solutions to minimize the amount of downtime of these systems. So if there is an issue, being able to have a solution that can get these systems back up and running, as soon as possible. One advantage of string inverters is, that we're able to have replacement units in stock. And if if an inverter needs to be replaced, we typically ship those within 24 hours, a replacement for an RMA. And a lot of times, while we're still kind of troubleshooting and figuring out what the issue is. But we've also done a lot on the remote troubleshooting and diagnosis capabilities of the inverters. So if, say, there's an alarm or a fault that's seen, our team's able to go in and see, all right, what was going on with the voltage or current or, temperature even, and really be able to diagnose issues quickly versus, having to go roll a truck out to the site and see what's going on and then maybe have to go back and, have a replacement inverter or part. So it really cuts that potential downtime even more.
How is that done, the remote troubleshooting? So are you in, are video technologies involved, or is it all electronic, mostly electronic signals that you're receiving?
Yeah. So the inverters themselves, they are able to read and monitor many different data points and parameters. So things like voltage and current, both on the DC side, for each MPPT, on the AC side, seeing
Mhm.
the grid voltage and, looking at the power, the temperature of different parts of the product. So the inverters themselves, part of their, I guess, controls and communication is being able to have that those readings, and we offer our what we call our CPS FlexOM gateway that can be installed at a site that basically pulls that data from the inverters, and we're able to see that on the remote portal. We're able to look at alarms, chart the different data to help diagnose and troubleshoot, what really is going on at a site. So it also allows being able to, adjust settings if needed, remotely upgrade firmware. So it really helps speed up, diagnosis and troubleshooting.
You also, I remember talking about integrated disconnects and rapid shutdown. So is, can you tell a little bit, talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So with our commercial PV inverters, as well as all of our products, we try and as much of the needed equipment, integrated into the inverter, so that installers are not needing to install the inverter plus, other equipment, connect, different, different products together, kind of like, a science experiment. Really having it all in one, product integrated, it goes through all the certification and testing. So, everything's there and proven. The disconnects you mentioned. So, most of our inverters have integrated, DC, and AC, switches on them. So, providing the disconnecting means there, at the inverter level versus having to install it externally. That provides a lot of, design flexibility for, designers or installers, of our inverters, of being able to place the inverters or, have the specific layout needed for the site, which some commercial projects can be challenging, whether it's trying to fit equipment up on a rooftop or a carport or some sort of, field with different terrain. That's one big advantage of string inverter technology of that is that design flexibility. Rapid shutdown too. So we have our inverters PV rapid shutdown system certified with AP Smart module level devices. And part of the system is having a transmitter that sends a signal to the module devices when rapid shutdown is initiated on site. The transmitter stops sending that signal. So one thing we've done is integrated that transmitter into the inverter wire box. It's connected to the AC terminals in the inverter. So once the inverter sees that, AC power has been disconnected, so when, a disconnect switch or whatever the rapid shutdown initiation device is, that not only has the inverter, disconnected and de-energized, but also has the transmitter de-energized at the exact same time. So, so really, being able to have all of that, rapid shutdown solution without having to install different, boxes and electrical enclosures. So again, it's, the main